Taylor. I'm here with my friend and colleague, John Oppenheim, and the two of us have written a new handbook called Sales is Serving Others, Ethical Sales Skills for the Yoga Professional. So I have a couple questions for you, John.
Right ahead. I'm ready to roll.
You're ready to go? What's a young man like you doing writing a book on sales for yoga professionals?
Well, that's a good question because one would not expect that. But I spent a long career in the software business, and while my title was salesman, it was really a different kind of sale. When people think about selling, they think about, the kind of person that sells you something you don't want and need. But in reality, we were asking managers and owners of businesses to bet that business on our solution, and we needed to have them trust us enough to do that. And as a yoga professional, I've been really privileged to meet and get to know many other yoga professionals, or actually, I'm not as much a yoga professional as most of you are. But one day, one of them who knew that I'd been in sales told me she was having trouble getting people to connect and commit to her therapy sessions and pay money for them. Everybody's willing to take it for free. And I had written a book for software salespeople years ago, and I gave a copy to her, and she called me up and she said, "Hey, that really helped." She said, "I really feel confident now that I can get out and talk to people and get them to commit. I really understand what that's all about." And that's great, but and it got me to thinking that, maybe there's other yoga professionals who might want to have that same experience, but they really don't want to read a book for software salespeople. And so I reached out to you as a yoga professional and said, "Hey, what about taking this idea and making it special just for yoga professionals?" So that's kind of how this came about.
Well, it seems like, we've got all this social media and you got ClickFunnels and you've got all sorts of tech in that. Why do you need a handbook on sales? Don't you just do all that stuff?
Well, I guess if you're selling knives and Apple computer peripherals, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, and you can just do a little ad. But if it were only that simple, I think more people would do it. Social media is a really good place to connect, but it really can't give that person that you want to get to the comfort level that they're seeking with a yoga therapist. They've got pain or something that they want to be able to take care of, and they need to feel that whoever they work with is really going to be able to help them with that. And that's nothing, you can't do that on social media. It's really a one-on-one session. And you can use social media to get people to respond, hopefully, by putting something clever out there. But once they get to you and get you involved, or you get them involved, they really need to know you better, and you need to know them better. And that's really some of the things that we cover in the book, which is how do you get people to a comfort level, how to ask the kind of questions that are about them, not what a great professional you are, but really what is it you can do to help them. And again, you just can't do that with social media.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And we really do get down to the fundamentals, right? We have pass, dribble, shoot. That's it.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just fundamentals.
Okay. And so the reader just has to read this nice little handbook and understand the book, and then they'll make the sale. Is that how I understand it?
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to do this by osmosis. I don't think I learned a lot out of books about my business career, but once I got into business and started doing it, I really started to understand it. And that's no different for anything. So this is a handbook. It's kind of a guide that you can use to further your process along with what we call a prospect or potential client, however you want to say it. And so it just takes practice and it takes work. And there's really not that much to it. It's kind of like you said, it's, pass, dribble, shoot, or shoot, dribble, pass, or whatever it is you do. if you're playing basketball, using a sports metaphor.
You're right.
We did put some things in the book to assist the reader with some ideas about how to use the concepts that we're talking about. And one of the things I always tell people also is, practice on your friends and relatives. And the more you do it, the better you get. And the better you get, the more comfortable you are with it. And quite frankly, it's really that simple. And it's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the better your chances of getting more clients. Always asking for references and things like that. And of course, the big issue that people get into when they start in trying to sell or to keep expanding is sometimes things just don't go as quickly and smoothly as you hope, and you kind of give up and say, I just don't want to talk to one more person. But quite frankly, not giving up and being persistent sure helped me. I had a very long and successful career in the software business, and I'm still doing consulting, and I use the same principles for that. And I've got that confidence that when I talk to people, I know I can find out what they need, and I can tell them how I can help fulfill those needs and give them that comfort level that they're seeking. So hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, and we do take them through some examples in the book too, don't we? Where we've shared the principle, and then we have concrete examples that apply to the profession of yoga, so people can get a sense of exactly how they might do it. But it's really, once they've read it, they've got to practice it, right?
Yeah, I remember when I was doing cold calling. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, where you pick up the phone and you just call people. Oh, and I got to tell you, the hardest call to make was the first one. It's like, I used to have sales reps would come in the office and they'd get it to their desk and they'd go get coffee and they'd get their pencils lined up and their paper lined up, and I just look at them and say, pick up the phone.
Right.
So it's the basic same exact thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, we kind of close up this little chat. The subtitle was Ethical Sales Skills for the Yoga Professional. So what do you say to the person that feels like this is just kind of the greasy used car salesman trickery? How might our work be just a little different than that?
Well, that's the thing I feel. I tell people I was a salesman, and they look at me like, okay, I don't believe half of what you're saying, and the other half I'm suspect. But once I start asking questions and showing that I understand that what they're telling me, all that goes away. And I don't even necessarily call myself a salesman. I like to start out a conversation and say, tell me about yourself. Most people feel that, and this is true when you go in and talk to most salespeople, they start telling you about all the great features and wonderful things that they're going to do for you. Right. Even though that may not be what you're looking for, they don't care. They're just going to go through it. I had a car salesman one time that took me from the hood to the tailpipe for about a half an hour. I was just going to sleep. And that's not selling. I guess you could say that's selling, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about consultative conversations that lead people to get to the point where you understand them and they understand what you can do. And then the easy part is saying, when do you want to start?
Exactly.
Does that answer?
That answers it, and that's why we call it sales is serving, right? We're serving the other. So thanks very much, Johnny. If folks want to find the book, it's easy enough to find. Just go to sellingyoga.com, and that'll give you some more background to the book, the table of contents, and then we'll link you up, and we're selling it through Blurb. And I think it comes in at a whopping $9.95, I think is the.
Yeah, we're really ripping them off, aren't we?
we're going to have all kinds of tax problems after this one. No, we really want to get your feedback, folks.
That price, because this is an important book, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, John.
Thank you.